Hey guys, MusicMan here back with another Identity V video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at some of my Violinist gameplay. So yeah, let's take a look. Alright, so the first match we're going to be taking a look at is on a red church. We got a seer, mercenary, mechanic, and a gravekeeper. So this is definitely a really annoying team composition to go against because the seer is really powerful. Let's see. Mercenary can always get a free rescue. He's the only survivor that can really rescue when injured, unless you have like a coordinator with a flare gun. Anyways, I'm chasing the seer first. The seer does a really nice job kiting here in the beginning, just using all of these areas here to his advantage. Yeah. And then, of course, he's going to have his bird, so he is able to absorb a free hit there. And now from there, he's just going to go ahead and transition, trying to stall as much time as he can. And this is some of the tough things about all the transitional chitin is that you're able to stall so much time that way. But you see, if you've got good aim, you're able to get a nice note in there, and the music stacks will also make them slower, so it's relatively easy to follow up with another attack if you're able to land a note on the survivor, which I was able to. So I'm going to go ahead, throw my peeper down, and I'm going to go ahead and start looking around to see where that rescue might be coming from. I don't see anything quite right away, but the first round of Cypher Pops is kind of happening. So now there's 3 ciphers remaining, and I think there's progress at Wedding Gate. Somehow I missed that. I hit the mercenary there. I probably should have waited for a terror shock there, but I make it work here. If the seer was paying attention, he could have turned around for a pallet stun there, but I'm going to work on trying to make it tough for the seer to try to get back in the area. Again, he's got his music stacks on, so he's not going to be running super fast still, even then. And that allowed me to unlock maximum presence, and he ends up not getting between the lines, and that is another down for me. So it's kind of nice that after you hit max presence, you don't need to wait until the next music note. You can just use the max presence ability then. And he was trying to pallet camp there, so that was nice anyways. But if I would have waited for the mercenary to rescue, like I should have, I could have probably avoided this camping thing going on here. I don't really know how that didn't hit, but or that. I'm just going ahead and getting music stacks on this seer there. So he's not moving very fast, but the gravekeeper is, of course, trying to body block and stall more time. I kind of had a feeling you would try to pallet camp that, but I was able to hit him during the down. And I'm going to go ahead and, since there's 1 cipher remaining, I'm going to guarantee myself at least the draw, and I'm going to take the seer to the chair. Now I'm going to take him to one of these ciphers right here in a more central location, because this is where I have a feeling that the last cipher is being decoded as, right here in the middle. And you can see there's a survivor there that's decoding right now. And I'm going to go ahead and throw my peepers down, make sure they don't decide that they want to decode there. And I'm going to work my way over here, just trying to work around all these ciphers. I see that a survivor decided to come back to middle there. And I'm able to work with that to get a nice, quick, easy note on the gravekeeper. So now I've got a survivor on the chair. I'm going to try to take him to a chair that's relatively far from the cipher so that it takes them a little bit farther away from the ciphers. Looks like they're just healing now to try to attempt a rescue. But I'm going to throw down my peeper. I see nobody's at middle. So again, I'm just going to start working my way around the ciphers, trying to find out which one's the last one that's planning on being popped. I think I end up seeing, yeah, there's a survivor that's coming around this way. First hit on the mechanic right there, and I'm going to go ahead and place my notes. Now this was really weird here. Somehow they were able to get underneath all the notes there and stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and just down the mechanic anyways, because that cipher is about to be completed. I forced the mercenary off at the last moment there, and I'm going to go ahead. I know that this cipher is primed, so I'm going to go ahead and abnormal that just to buy myself a bunch of time. And this mercenary here, oh, and there's the gravekeeper, and I'm able to down the gravekeeper there. So now the mercenary's only hope is to either heal the mechanic or to decode that cipher, and I know those are pretty much his options. I see the mercenary there, so I'm going to go ahead and go after him. And the mechanic is still down, so I know it's going to be a while before she is getting any sort of cipher priming or anything. The mercenary gets hit once there, and I'm able to hit right when he planned on using his gauntlet, so I can go ahead and just wait for him to be down. I know none of the ciphers are really close to being completed there. And I'm just going to wait so that he's down before... I wasn't planning on hitting him again, just so that I would be able to get an easy follow-up attack if that cipher does manage to be primed, and I see that it is not. I see that the bot's there, so I'm like, whatever. I'm going to get rid of that bot so he doesn't decode the gate. And I'm going to go ahead and take the merc to the chair right now. So at this point, the mechanic has to come for a save if they want a shot at a draw. But at this point, it's not looking like that's going to happen. When I destroyed the bot, I did end up getting a ping. So I know that the mech was somewhere around there. And I just go ahead and abnormal this again, because, you know, why not? Now, what I should have done here is I should have just started hunting for the dungeon, and I do. Here, you can see I'm looking around, looking for the dungeon location. So the dungeon locations are here. You see there's one of the dungeon locations. One of them is right outside the graveyard or tombstone, whatever you want to call it. And then another one is at Top Broken there, where it looks like the mechanic's at right now. So the mechanic did end up getting healed, so I know that I can't just face camp the dungeon anymore because the mechanic was able to somehow get a syringe. So I know I need to catch her early, get an early hit, and then follow up with a skill attack if I ever want to down the mechanic. And the mechanic is making her way around to the dungeon locations. She's heading to graveyard right now. I missed the mechanic when she was running by. That was kind of unfortunate. I was watching the chair at that time, but the mechanic's going to make her way around the back, sneak past me, and get the dungeon, but that's still okay because that is a 3-man for me, and I'll go ahead and take that. So yeah, the mechanic's going to get dungeon, and then we're going to move on to round 2, which is on Lakeside. Lakeside is a relatively weaker map for Violinist because he's one of the slowest hunters in the game, and this is just such a huge map. You really kind of have to play characters like Dream Witch, Wu Chang. Bloody Queen's good on this map, really good on this map. It's kind of hard to get those predictions with the jukes or whatever, but the coordinator uses her flare gun right away. So now she doesn't have a whole lot of kiting ability, and I know that, so I'm going to go ahead and chase the coordinators since it's probably going to be an easy down from here on out. See, I'm able to get a note there, And again, the music stacks, so the coordinator's not going to be super fast from now on. I just vault that window there, and of course the mechanic's going to do the same with that pallet there. And she's going to make her way around to the back of boat. I was expecting her to run up to that ramp there, since that's what survivors normally do. However, this coordinator is going to make her way around, and I'm just going to sort of wander on down this way, and she's going to make her way to the back shack. So I don't want her to vault that window there, so I don't know how that missed. I thought I was doing that mid vault. I think I was a little bit delayed. So this mechanic's doing a pretty decent kite. You can see that the first round of ciphers are about to be popped. But one thing that I want to show you all with this match is that even if you start off bad in a match, you can always come back as a hunter. Well, with specific hunters, like Violinist can come back, Feaster can come back, the Sculptor can come back. And I actually see a bunch of survivors here. And I'm going to go ahead and take the... unfortunately, she did end up struggling free. But I'm going to go ahead and... This is going to be an easy done, you see. So you can see 2 ciphers left. I'm getting my first chairing. This is not looking good for me right now. But one thing that's really nice about if survivors try to harass is that you're able to get some pretty easy hits if they do. And you can see I've already dealt a whole lot of damage that way. Now the Priestess is the only one that can save, and I'm chasing the Prospector here. I was hoping that would hit. Turns out it didn't. I'm going to make my way back to the chair. And the Priestess is portaling there, but I'm able to stuff this rescue here. Now, if she would have just tried to walk around normally, she definitely would have made that save. But because I'm carrying Berserker in my build, I was able to stuff the rescue there, even when I really shouldn't have. I think the Priestess might have been lagging or something, but you can see I single-handedly turned this match around super quickly. Use my note there, good aim, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the Priestess to a chair because she's got super fast healing. So even though there's peepers around, Priestess with peepers heals I think at about the rate of a normal survivor anyways. And I'm just making sure that nobody's I'm just making sure that she can't stand up again. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Perfumer to the chair next. Honestly, she was pretty close at struggling free here because there's not so many chairs in that area. There's a Prospector around, so I was expecting someone to try to... I was expecting the Prospector to try to rescue, but you can see if there's a lot of harassers around you, this is a way that you can use that to your advantage, is just if the survivors aren't doing their job correctly, it's really easy to exploit that. And again, stuffed rescue, taking the Prospector to the chair, and this is another 4-man on Lakeside. Even though the survivor did get a good kite, you're still able to abuse it when survivors try to harass. I don't know what the Perfumer was doing trying to harass because she doesn't have any sort of stun ability, but you can see even with the Prospector there, the stunner, you can still easily pull that around. And I don't know what this Enchantress was doing here. She did get one good juke there, but she's going to go ahead and make her way back around to the factory. If I were her, I would have gone into factory. That's a lot of a stronger area for survivors than way out here. And if she would have kept running, that definitely would have been a line hit there. But I'm going to go ahead and take this Enchantress to the chair. This is already doing significantly better than the last match I just showed you all. So, especially because I'm getting basement, and basement is broke with Violinist. because you're able to do that thing when you jump there, and especially if you carry Berserker, even if you don't manage to get the jump hit, you're still able to hit the survivor far enough to be able to, well, I'll show you right now. So I'm able to hit the survivor right there, and I'm able to use my lines there, and I still end up hitting the mercenary, knocking him off the chair, and then I end up downing the mercenary. So you can already see where this is kind of going. Now, the prospector was trying to rescue there, and he actually kind of helped me there because I was worried the mercenary was going to struggle free. So the prospector got injured. Now the mechanic is forced to save if they decide to save at all, which 2 survivors down there, I'd almost be kind of tempted to just kind of go for it, but there are 4 ciphers remaining. At this point, this is almost a guaranteed win. I'm not suspecting anybody's going to rescue, so you see I'm going to stray away from the chair a bit more here, especially once it starts getting after half. If it starts getting after half, that could, early game, that's usually a pretty good sign that nobody's going to rescue. So you see I'm going to stray way out here to the prospector because I'm not expecting anybody to rescue here. I'm going to go ahead and just throw my line here. That was really close, but I'm going to make my way back to the chair just to make sure, even though I don't think anybody's going to rescue, just to make sure that nobody's going to try to attempt a last-second rescue, and being that tinnitus is off, until I start walking towards middle where the prospector is at, I've got a pretty good idea that nobody's going to try to rescue here. So now I'm going to go ahead and chase the prospector once and for all here. Again, I missed it by just a sliver there, which is kind of hard to do with attacks that are really far out like that. So I went ahead and put my notes on the prospector, so now he's going to move significantly slower. So he didn't have time to make it to the middle there. Again, another attack that definitely would have hit if the prospector didn't have his magnets on him, but being that he's got a bunch of magnets with no cooldown, he was able to push me away there, but I was able to follow up with a nice line, note line, and I'm going to go ahead and take the prospector to the chair. I can just go ahead and camp the chair because it doesn't really matter at this point. I pretty much secured the win with my basement camping there with a stuffed merc rescue. Basement is really the only way that you could ever possibly stuff a mercenary, but even then they can still, like, what that mercenary should have done was just elbow pad down the dungeon. So even then it's really hard to counter, and right here, I'm just kind of trying to see if I can look for that tinnitus icon in the corner to see where that mercenary could possibly, not the mercenary, where the mechanic could possibly be. But you can see she's not attempting a rescue on the prospector. And at this point, all she really needs to do is run up to the dungeon, because there's not really a way that I'm going to be able to stop her before she gets to dungeon, unless if I'm able to get a double hit, which you see I'm going to use my line here. I think she was expecting a hit from me there, which honestly I could have done, but she's able to get the dungeon at the last second, and that's the game. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section below. If you want a video in the future of another hunter, go ahead and leave some suggestions in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.